The silver sky of Arendor Prime glowed softly as the colony's central tower rang its morning bells. It was supposed to be a peaceful day. The floating gardens above the city shimmered, and the wind carried a sweet metallic scent from the glowing rivers below. But peace ended the moment the council made their announcement. Leora sat on a narrow stone bench near the edge of the plaza. She held 3 small blankets in her arms. Inside those blankets were 3 newborn baby girls. Their tiny hands moved slowly, their small breaths warm against her chest. For Leora, they were everything, her entire world in that single moment. But for the Council of Elders, they were something else. They were a problem. The council believed in an old law, one written when the first starships landed on Arendor. According to those laws, the bloodline of defense must be carried by male children. Male children were trained from birth to fight, to defend the city and to continue the pure warrior legacy. Girls were often given less importance. They could grow, learn, and work, but they could not inherit a warrior's place. So when Leora, a respected navigation engineer and member of the defense program, gave birth to 3 daughters, the council saw it as a bad sign. "The council's judgment, Leora of Tower 7, said Elder Cadron, standing at the front of the grand hall. His voice echoed through the high ceilings. "You were chosen as a bearer of the warrior seed. Your duty was to give strength to the colony. But you have brought weakness." Leora's hands tightened around the babies. "They are not weak," she said softly but firmly. "They are alive. They are mine." A low murmur ran through the crowd. Many eyes turned away uncomfortable. A few young soldiers clenched their fists in silence. Elder Cadron raised a hand. 3 girls and not a single son. The tradition is clear. Such a birth is a sign of imbalance. The alpha line has been broken. We cannot risk the protection of this world. The other elders nodded. The decision was already made. "You are hereby exiled beyond the storm wall," Elder Cadron declared. "You and your children will leave before the next sunrise. The colony cannot hold the curse of a broken alpha line." Leora's heart pounded. She looked at her daughters. Each of them had opened their eyes. 3 pairs of bright, unusual blue eyes looked up at her, glowing faintly like the stars themselves. "They are not a curse," she whispered. "They are a sign," but no one listened. Guards in silver armor walked forward to escort her out of the hall. Farewell to a home. That night, the city lights of the floating colony shone brighter than ever. Leora stood on the edge of the eastern gate, holding her babies close. The storm wall roared in the distance, a massive barrier of lightning and wind that separated the safe zone of the colony from the wild lands of Arendor. Behind her, a few people watched silently. Among them was Kellen, a young soldier she had trained with years ago. He had always believed in the warrior code but also respected Leora's strength. "You don't deserve this," Kellen said quietly. "None of you do." Leora gave him a small, tired smile. "They are afraid of change." Kellen hesitated, then pulled something from his coat, a small glowing cube. "Take this," he whispered. "It's a map beacon. If you ever find yourself in trouble, it will call for help. I cannot cross the wall, but I will listen for your signal." She accepted it and nodded. "Thank you." He looked down at the babies. "They have the alpha eyes," he said. "I've read about it in old records. Only a true heir of the first line had that glow." Leora felt a strange warmth inside her. She had always known there was something special about her children. She kissed each tiny forehead and then turned toward the storm wall. The wind grew colder. She did not look back again. The first encounter. The world beyond the wall was different. The air was thick with energy. Trees glowed faintly with soft blue light. The rivers were not water but flowing silver mist. The ground was warm, alive with a soft humming sound. Leora walked carefully, carrying her babies in a sling across her chest. The storm roared behind her, cutting off any chance of returning. She was alone, or at least she thought she was. Suddenly, the forest went silent. No wind, no hum. Even the silver rivers froze mid-flow, as if the world itself was holding its breath. From the shadows between the trees, something massive stepped forward. It was a wolf, but not like any creature from the colony. Its fur was silver, glowing under the moonlight. Its eyes were golden and intelligent. Its steps made no sound. Leora's breath caught. She had read stories of this creature as a child. The alpha wolf, guardian of the first land, the creature that watched over Arendor before the colonies were built. But no one had seen it in over 100 years. The wolf walked slowly toward her. She did not run. She held her ground, shielding her babies. The wolf lowered its head and its glowing eyes focused on the children. To her surprise, the babies did not cry. They reached out their tiny hands as if drawn to the creature. The alpha wolf let out a deep, soft sound, not a growl, but something like a low hum. The ground responded. The trees began to glow brighter. A blue ring of light appeared around them, pulsing gently. Then something impossible happened. The three babies opened their eyes at the same time, and the blue glow inside them matched the wolf's light. The wolf bowed its head. Leora whispered, "It's not a curse. It's a sign." The storm sky back at the colony, Elder Cadron stood on the tower balcony looking toward the wall. A soldier ran up to him. "Elder," the soldier said, breathing hard. The scanners picked up an energy surge beyond the wall. "What kind of surge?" Cadron asked. "Unknown. It matches ancient readings. The kind we only see in the old archives." Cadron's eyes narrowed. "The alpha wolf." The soldier hesitated. "Should we send scouts?" "No," Cadron said slowly. "If the legends are true, then the storm will choose. And if it chooses her, we will have no control." Far away, the sky above the wall began to flash with silver light. The energy patterns spread like ripples through the air. The shelter in the ruins, Leora followed the wolf through the glowing forest. It did not attack. It walked slowly, pausing when she paused, as if waiting for her. Eventually, they reached a massive stone structure covered in vines and glowing moss. It was not natural. It was ancient. The wolf stopped at the entrance and sat down. It looked at her with those golden eyes and waited. Leora stepped inside. The air was warm and still. She found walls covered in strange symbols. Some she recognized from old engineering books, marks of the first colonists, the ones who built the defense network of the planet long ago. She laid the babies on a soft patch of moss. The wolf entered and lay down near the doorway like a guardian. Leora explored the room, brushing away dust from a large wall panel. She pressed a symbol and the wall lit up. A voice filled the chamber, soft, mechanical, but ancient. "Alpha line detected." "Air confirmed." Leora froze. The light spread across the walls, revealing a hidden map of the entire planet. A massive network of old defense towers appeared on the hologram, glowing faintly. She turned to look at her children. Their blue eyes reflected the light of the map. The alpha wolf's eyes glowed brighter. "They are the key," she whispered. The colony's fear in the colony panic grew. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the alpha wolf had returned. Others said Leora's daughters were chosen by the storm. Fear mixed with old superstitions. Kellen tried to speak in the council hall. "We must not fear her," he said. "The old stories say the wolf only appears when the world is in danger. If it's back, something bigger is coming." But Elder Cadron refused. "We built this colony to survive on our own," he said. "We cannot trust old legends. If she brings the storm, she brings danger." A silent message spread through the colony's secret channels. "Watch the skies." The first pulse in the ruins. As Leora slept near the glowing wall, something woke her. The babies were glowing again. A soft blue light pulsed from their tiny hands. The wolf raised its head. The symbols on the walls shifted. Outside, the storm clouds twisted into a spiral above the forest. A beam of light shot into the sky, visible from the colony towers miles away. The ground trembled. The old defense network was waking up after 100 years of silence. Leora held her daughters close. She didn't fully understand what was happening, but she knew this much. This was no curse. This was destiny. The alpha wolf walked to her side. It looked into her eyes as if to say, "You are not alone." She whispered softly, "I'll protect them, no matter what comes." The end of part 1. Back at the colony, Elder Cadron stared at the flashing lights in the sky. Soldiers whispered in fear. Citizens gathered in the streets, pointing at the strange blue spiral above the wall. "The Alpha has awakened," Kellen said quietly. Cadron's face hardened. "Then our world is about to change." And far beyond the wall in the silent ruins, Leora stood beside the ancient guardian, holding 3 glowing babies. The storm sang around them, and the planet itself seemed to breathe once more. This was the beginning of something greater than anyone in the colony could imagine. The sky above Arendor Prime burned with silver light. For the first time in more than a century, the ancient defense towers hidden across the wild lands began to glow. The blue spiral in the clouds could be seen from every tower of the colony. People gathered in the streets pointing at the sky with wide eyes. Fear and wonder spread at the same time. The Council of Elders had no answers. No one had ever seen this in their lifetime. Deep inside the ruins, Leora held her 3 daughters close as the alpha wolf stood guard at the entrance. The old structure vibrated gently as if it were alive. Symbols on the walls danced with light. The glowing map above her head pulsed brighter with every breath her daughters took. Leora whispered, "What is happening to us?" The wolf did not speak, but its golden eyes seemed to hold a silent answer. The voice of the past. The walls shifted again, and a soft, mechanical voice filled the air. Alpha line confirmed. Awakening protocol initiated. Time remaining, 72 hours. Leora stepped closer to the glowing panel. "Who are you?" she asked. The voice answered, "I am the Guardian Core. Long ago, humans came to Arendor and made a promise to protect this world. The Alpha line carries the key to the planet's defense. The children you carry are the last of that line." Her heart pounded. She looked at her daughters, sleeping peacefully, their blue eyes still glowing softly. "Why now?" Leora whispered. "Because the enemy has awakened," the voice replied. A shiver ran down her spine. She had read about the old enemy in history books. Not an army of soldiers, but something older and colder. The Void Swarm, a silent force from deep space. They had destroyed entire worlds before the first colony ships came to Arendor. People believed they were gone forever, but the Guardian Corps said otherwise. The council divided inside the central tower of the colony. The Council of Elders met in a dark room. Their faces were tense. "We have received reports from the scanners," said one of the technicians. The energy signals match the old archives. "The Alpha system is active." Elder Cadron looked at the screen, his face hard. "This is her doing. Leora and those children have triggered something beyond our control." Kellen stepped forward. "It's not her fault," he said. "You called her children a curse, but they are part of the planet's defense. If the Alpha Wolf has chosen them, it means we need them." Some elders nodded quietly. Others looked away in fear. Elder Cadron raised his hand. "No. We built this colony to control our future. We cannot depend on old myths. If she has power, then she can also bring danger. We must find her before the storm grows." But Kellen spoke again, louder this time. "If the old enemy is coming back, then we need her. Without her, the colony will fall." Silence filled the room. Finally, Elder Mara, the oldest of the group, spoke softly. "The Alpha line has always appeared in times of great danger. If the storm has returned, it may already be too late to stop it. We must choose, to fear or to stand." The journey begins. Leora sat near the glowing wall with the wolf beside her. The Guardian Corps projected a map into the air. Blue lines stretched across the planet, leading to large circular towers buried under the forests and rivers. "These towers are part of the planetary shield," the voice explained, "but the network is asleep. To protect this world, the Alpha line must awaken each tower before the Void Swarm arrives." Leora stared at the map. "How can I do that?" "I'm just an engineer. The children are the key," the voice said, "but they cannot do it alone. They need a guide." Leora looked at her daughters. Her fear slowly turned into determination. "Then I'll guide them." The wolf lifted its head and let out a long, low sound. The forest outside responded with waves of soft blue light. It was as if the entire land was waking up with them. She packed food, wrapped the babies carefully, and stepped out into the glowing night. The alpha wolf walked by her side, silent and strong. The ruins faded behind them like a sleeping giant. First tower. Their journey took them through glowing fields, floating rocks, and silver rivers that whispered like wind. Whenever they grew tired, the wolf found a safe place to rest. Whenever they felt lost, the map beacon glowed softly, showing them the way. After many hours, they reached the first tower. It rose from the ground like a black spear pointing at the stars. Its walls were covered with symbols like the ones in the ruins. Leora approached carefully. "What do I do?" she asked. "Place the children at the core." The Guardian Corps' voice echoed in her mind. A door opened as if the tower itself had recognized them. Inside, the air was warm. The lights followed her steps. She placed the babies on a small circular platform. Instantly, blue light filled the room. Their tiny hands reached out, touching the air. The tower came alive. Far away in the colony, alarms went off. One by one, defense systems long thought to be broken powered up. Old satellites in orbit turned their sensors toward the stars. Leora held her breath as the platform rose. A deep voice echoed through the chamber. Tower 1 awakened. The wolf let out a proud sound. The lights outside grew brighter. Signs in the sky above the colony. Silver lines formed a massive glowing circle in the night sky. Citizens stood in silence, staring. "It's a weapon," one soldier whispered. "It's a shield," said another. Kellen stood on the wall, eyes fixed on the sky. "She's doing it," he said softly. "She's waking the towers." Elder Cadron clenched his fists. "Then we must reach her first. If she controls the Alpha system alone, the Council will lose power." But Elder Mara replied firmly, "This is not about power. This is about survival." A shadow approaches. 2 nights later, as Leora approached the second tower with the wolf and her daughters, the wind changed. The stars above dimmed. The wolf growled low. A dark shape moved across the sky. It was silent, smooth, and cold. It was not from the colony. It was something else. The Guardian Corps' voice echoed in her ear. "The Void Swarm has entered orbit. You must hurry." Her heart beat faster. She held her daughters close and began to run toward the tower's entrance. But before she reached it, something landed in front of her with a heavy thud. A large creature, black as space, with no face and long, thin limbs, blocked her path. Its presence made the air colder. The wolf stepped forward, its silver fur shining bright. It let out a roar that shook the trees. The creature tilted its head but did not move. "Stay back," Leora whispered to the babies, even though they could not understand. The wolf leapt forward. The ground exploded in light and shadow. The wolf's stand. The battle between the wolf and the shadow creature was fast and silent. Silver light clashed with dark mist. Leora could barely see them. She ran toward the tower entrance with the babies in her arms. The tower door opened just in time. As soon as she stepped inside, the shadow creature let out a piercing sound and vanished into the forest. The wolf, though tired, followed her inside. "Danger level rising," the Guardian Corps' voice warned. "More creatures are coming. You must awaken the second tower." Leora placed her daughters on the platform again. Their blue eyes glowed brighter than before. A wave of light burst from the tower, shooting into the sky like a star being born. Tower 2, awakened. The choice of the colony back in the colony. The Council watched as 2 massive blue rings spun slowly above the planet. "It's her," said Kellen. "She's protecting us." But Elder Cadron slammed his fist on the table. "She is making decisions without us. If she fails, we all fall with her. We must take control." Elder Mara looked at him sharply. "Control will not save us. Courage will." Kellen took a deep breath. "Then I'll go," he said. "I'll find her and help her. She shouldn't fight alone." After a long silence, Mara nodded. "Take a team of loyal soldiers. Bring hope, not fear." Cadron turned away in anger, but he knew it was too late. The people were already whispering a new name. The Alpha Mother. The final awakening, Leora reached the third and final tower as the first ships of the Void Swarm entered the sky. Black shapes floated above the horizon like shadows with wings. The colony fired its weak defense weapons, but they did little. She was tired. Her feet hurt. Her arms ached. But when she looked at her daughters and the wolf beside her, strength filled her again. "This is the last one," she whispered. The tower recognized them instantly. It opened with a deep sound. She stepped inside and placed the children on the glowing platform one final time. The sky exploded with light. Tower 3, awakened, all 3 towers connected. Blue lines of light spread across the entire planet, linking the towers into one massive network. A giant protective shield formed above Arendor, covering it like a second sky. The Void Swarm ships crashed against the shield, unable to pass through. The colony watched in silence as the darkness above was held back by a wall of light. Unity Kellen and his team reached the last tower just as the shield completed. The wolf turned its head but did not attack. It recognized him as an ally. Leora stood near the platform, exhausted but standing tall. Kellen walked closer. "You did it," he said softly. Leora looked at the sky through the tower's open roof. "We all did." The council members who had doubted her now stood in their tower, watching the shining shield. Fear turned to respect. People shouted in the streets, not in panic, but in hope. The alpha wolf howled, and the sound echoed across the entire land. The towers glowed like 3 stars in the night, a new beginning. The void swarm retreated slowly, fading into the darkness of space. The shield held strong. For the first time in many generations, the colony had something more powerful than fear.